I never knew who was the father of my sister's children. So my mom says, hey, we should get a DNA test done because we need to know who the father is. Well, my husband was really nervous about this test, and for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why. Well, guess what? It's his babies, and I have something else to add to this, and it's going to shock you. When they say that a woman's instinct is never wrong, believe them. That's usually the truth, and if you don't ignore your instincts, you can never be blindsided in life. I'm 29 female and have just experienced that when the mother-in-law who hates me actually helped to reveal something that I had every right to know. And trust me, there was utter pandemonium when all was revealed. It was shocking, I'll tell you that. Well, what I've learned in the past week and how it was unfolded, but first let me give you guys a bit of a background. I've been married to my husband for about 4 years. We only knew each other for 3 months before we got married. He was a senior in the company that my sister works for, and I met him when I visited her. He was handsome, charming, and funny. It seemed that I caught his eye as well, because the next time he saw me, he asked me to go out to dinner. Of course, I was skeptical, because he lived so far away from me, but I gave him a chance and had a really good time. I soon left town, but we kept in touch. So then he flew over to my town for the weekend and just expressed that even though it was too soon, he could see himself getting very serious with me. And so our whirlwind romance turned into a marriage. But his mother could not accept us because we had known each other for a very short period of time. Every time that she can, she throws jabs at me, and she claims that I want her son for his money, but we split the bills at home. She also has an issue with us because we chose to not have children yet, and because of that, she's always taking my sister's kids as her grandkids and spoiling them. She has always joked and said that one would think that they were my husband's, and to be fair, she was right about that. They look just like him, and they're starting to look more like him. I've asked both of them about this in a joking manner, and they both say that there's no way. Well, it appears that mine and her suspicions were right all along. For my mother-in-law announced that she's getting old and wants to finalize her will. She said that before that, she needs to confirm for the sake of it that the kids were not my husband's. My sister Lorna and my husband Ben are not happy at all and told her to stop. But I backed her up and asked them why they were being so jumpy if they had nothing to hide. Now that would explain why they were always so weird towards each other. And more than once I caught them having a secret conversation. It also does not help that my sister never wanted to tell me who the father of her children was. By the way, she's 39 years old. So I backed my mother-in-law up for the first time in my life, and I was not disappointed because what did I find out? The truth that I've always known. But I have a little confession for you all. I always knew that my husband was going to cheat. In the neighborhood that we live in, the men there have a hobby of cheating. It was something that the other ladies told me when I was a newly bride. They told me to always make sure that I have a backup plan if I could accept sharing him with another woman. So of course I always have a backup plan because I know that this day would come. I just did not know that it would be to find out that for some reason he gave my sister kids. It had to be a very messed up thing for colleagues, right? When the test results came out and it revealed that he was the father, he went pale as a ghost and said that there's no way that it was him who was the dad. Just then, I remembered something my sister told me years ago. She told me that she's been seeing somebody at work and that person had a chance to be her baby's father. By the way, she's the mother of 3 triplet boys, who all look like the carbon copy of my husband. Talking about hiding a secret in plain sight. The only thing was that it was not a surprise to me. I knew something had happened and I acted like the dumb housewife I was. I was not going to do anything about it and I was going to just keep it a secret. This is what I told him. I told him that I did not care what he and my sister did, and I did not want to hear any details of it. I just did not want anyone in the neighborhood to find out about this. I did not want to face the humiliation that so many other women before me have faced. I wanted it to be something that they would always guess about. It was a better alternative to divorce if I went ahead with my plan B, and watch his face fall if he ever did this to me. Technically, he did not cheat, but lying to me about it for years was just as bad. but I should have left him with their mess, packed up my bags, and not dealt with it. The only thing was that I could not, for I will admit that I love that man and what he did for me, but it hurts me so much. The next couple of days were a blur as I tried to figure out my place in this whole mess. It was all weighing so heavy on me, and I know I told him not to tell me the details, but I could not stop imagining the details. And then there was my sister, who let me marry this guy even though she knew. Who knew that she was not just waiting to replace me if things went wrong? After all, she was just the mother of his kids. You know, the one that his mother loved so much more than me and was praying would replace me. It was such a moral dilemma that kept me from sleeping. As I was sleeping, what I had to do came to me. It was time for me to use the plan B that I put into place a long time ago. When you find out about this, you'll see me differently. I guess it's a good thing that I'm just a woman behind the screen. Give me your worst in the comments. I feel nothing at this point, so I told him about what I did during breakfast, like I was telling him the weather. He dropped the spoon that he was going right to his mouth, and it hit the corner of his bowl. Milk splattered on his face, but you could barely see it due to the color that had been turning from his face when I told him that I slept with someone else. That's my secret, my plan B. For I've never trusted any man in my life, not even the one that I married. I needed to have something that would hurt him just as bad as the truth about what he and my sister did. He looked utterly disgusted and about to lose his breakfast. So then he asked me again what I had just said. I told him that I knew he would cheat on me eventually, so I cheated back. So now we were truly even after what he did to me. The man looked like he was getting chest pains. He couldn't breathe. The next thing I knew, he got up, grabbed his keys, and just left. I've not seen him since then, and he's not texted me. I've been rewatching the same episodes of a sitcom for a while now, and I still don't get it. I don't know how to feel. I feel numb. I can feel it coming. The love story that I wished for so many years is coming to an end. But I still wonder how he will feel when I tell him the person I betrayed him with. I'm no saint in this matter, and I will not pretend to be. Well, none of us are, so tell me honestly, what would you have done if your partner cheated on you with someone you shared a womb with? Would you not want them to be hurt as much as you're hurting? Update number 1. Hey guys, I'm sitting right now in a hotel room right here, and I'm scared to go home because I don't know what he'll do to me. I've seen him angry before, but not like this. It's like he's a lion, and he would devour me if he sees me. I wonder if he'll call my sister over to comfort him, just to throw it in my face. But don't you know how I feel about it? He's just expressed how he feels inside by turning our house upside down. I still have everything boiling within me. I unleashed some of it today. The final piece that's caused everything to fall apart, so I'll tell you bluntly. When I was looking for my insurance, I knew that it could not just be anyone. It had to be somebody who mattered. I was not going to go for his family members because that's gross. But I needed somebody who would strike his heart. His best friend was an option, but he was too loyal to him. I needed somebody who was not so loyal. The funny thing is that his mom handed that person to me on a platter when she introduced me to Chip. She told me that Chip and him did not get along in school. It was mostly from Chip's side because he used to be my husband's bully. When Ben found out I met Chip, he told me not to be fooled by how Chip acts now. He used to make Ben's life a living hell, and he hates him with all his guts. So I went after him, and I got him. I kept some proof just so that I had some power over the situation. As for Chip, he did not really care as long as he got a woman. He was not bad-looking or even a bad lover. It happened in the same weeks that his mom was asking for the test. I could see that my husband was being very, very jumpy, and so was my sister. Lorna was the one who alerted me of her guilt because of her body language. I've known her all my life, so I know when she's hiding something. So then I did what I did, and I planned to tell them everything when the truth was revealed to me. Alas, I was a coward and still managed to be shocked by something that I already knew. It was not my proudest moment. I wanted that shock to hurt him just as his betrayal hurt me. But I got my own today. And I told him and showed him the person that I, slept with. I told him that I always knew he would cheat and I suspected it, and On that day, I vowed that I would be ready for him. I learned very fast in my life not to trust people no matter how much you bond or to them. They always have an ulterior motive. Update. Hey guys, it's me back again. It's been a week since that happened, and today I'll get a chance to go and see my husband. It was the first time that we had a conversation since what happened. I'll let you know how it went, but first of all, I wanted to respond to your comments about the whole situation. There's a commenter who said that what I did makes no sense for him for cheating, and that we deserved each other, and much stronger words than I'm saying now. I don't understand why you have to seem so angered about my marriage. I was the one who got hurt first, and I had everything to get revenge for. They had no chance to tell me the truth, but they never used those chances. Then there was a commenter who was slightly more sympathetic to my situation, and thank you for that. I think it's made me see things in a whole new light. She said that she understood where I was coming from because I had the mentality to strike first, before they struck me. She suggested that I get counseling because the pattern would repeat. I must say that after reading her comment, I was taken back. I'm so hurt that my reaction is to hurt other people. What if I end up alone because of this? I did not want to do something so cruel as to hurt him with somebody who had already hurt him. Many of you did point out that by using his bully, it could bring up old memories of hurt. I have now had to think about whether the punishment fits the crime or if we're even. These are all things that I'll have to think about when I go and see him today. We have both betrayed each other, and I'm not sure who's done the worst. The one who has kids and lied about it for years, or the one who betrayed the other with an old enemy. Maybe I'll admit that there were some tears and anger inside me that I did not let out enough. But this week has been hell for me as I've had to deal with all this alone. Nobody knows what happened yet, and I know this because people have been sending me messages and asking me why I'm not home. I've lied and said that I'm only on a business trip, and that'll only work for a little bit. I'm starting to feel dread. Maybe the whole thing was a bad idea. I'm just not sure where the bad idea started. Getting married to somebody who works with my sister, not saying something when I suspected it, and, well, dropping the bomb on him and letting him take it all out on our future. There's just so much going on, I guess. Update. You'll not believe what I just found out. Well, I'm the one who's in shock and unable to function. Every couple of minutes, I swear, I just want to bury myself in a hole and come out next winter. But I can't, for now. The whole world knows what happened and they hate me. I hate myself, too, for not finding out the full story. I hate him for never telling me what he suspected. Instead, he decides to live in the bliss of ignorance. It's about 2 weeks since my last update, and things have taken a different turn. The meeting that we had was not between just me and him. No, he included my sister and Chip. Yeah, of all people. And to top it off, his mom. He said that first of all, he wants to apologize for the way that I left the house. He did not mean to make me scared. He said that it was just so hard for him to come to terms with what I did. His mom interrupted him and told him that he had every right since I was such a loose woman. I told her to shut the hell up and let him speak. He did not need her to speak. Who even told her that she could have an opinion anyways? She then stood up and told me that she was not going to stand for this. She would rather leave, and I told her, fine, leave. My sister told me to stop. I'd done enough. Meanwhile, Ben was just looking defeated. Ben told me that he had something for me to read in my spare time, but he wanted to tell me in person. He told me that he never slept with my sister. Oh yeah, well then how the hell did she end up having a baby with her if he never slept with her? He told me that he never told me this before, but many years ago there was a sperm donation program at his local hospital. He was in his early 20s, struggling to repay his student loan, so he did it. And at the time, my sister was trying to have children. She never had a stable partner and had given up on that, but she wanted children. He donated his sperm, and it so happened that she ended up having the kids. They had no idea about each other for years until they started working together. My sister then said that she had her suspicions as the kids got older, but never said anything because he outranked her at work. It got worse when I visited him and he fell for me. She always wanted to say something to me, but every time she tried, the words got stuck. Years later, I was married and deeply in love, but the kids were looking more like him every day, and people were starting to take notice. She was a bit relieved when my mother-in-law requested that there's a DNA test and it needs to be done, but she was also dreading it. When it was confirmed, she was relieved about the truth. Days later, he called her to tell her what I've done. And here we are today. It was like a sucker punch to me. I could not feel my legs. All I felt was the pain hitting me in the abdomen. I could not do anything but slump back in my chair, and as I looked up, I felt that my vision was starting to blur. And then the panic attack came. I would not wish it upon anyone. I would have never one before in my life, and I hope I never have one again. The air was simply not enough. The pain was getting worse by the moment. And there was my mother-in-law speaking. She was absolutely taunting at me, laughing at me for getting me this time, and she's been waiting for this moment, and she was glad for it. And then there was Chip, who asked why the hell he had been called. He said that we were all weird, and then he left. My husband told him that he had to come back so that he could answer for what he's done to me. Chip did not say anything, he just left. He was the least of my problems right now because all I could think about was how I had managed to screw up so badly. Why had I not said something when I suspected the kids were his? Why had I gone to stupid Chip that night? Why? I felt like I was going to be sick, so I excused myself. I went to the bathroom where I sat there and cried. It was a cry of loss, and I just last felt such a feeling when I lost my parents. And here I was having the lost love of my life. There was no one to blame. No one forced me to step out and hurt him like that. So he found me a couple of hours later and was not forgiving. He started to ask me questions like what was going through my mind when I did it. Did I always think that Chip was better for me than him? Would I choose him over all people? I had nothing to say. None of that sass or anger left, just regret and pain. So much pain for what I caused. It was this pain that I sit here and I'm unable to sleep for about 2 weeks later. He gave me a month to move out, of which he was very generous. I found a place within a couple of days, and I'm waiting for the divorce papers from the lawyer in the mail. I'm not looking forward to it. I know that the comments are not going to be great. But if one person could spare me a prayer, I would appreciate it. Updates. The Lord works in some very interesting ways. Remember that as I tell you how my fortune changed? I nearly lost everything, but that was needed so that I could regain something even more. They say you have to die to be reborn, and you know what? They're right. I'm not the person that I used to be at all. When I read about how I used to think, I'm disgusted with myself. I'll never let myself fall into this darkness again. It's a year later, and things worked out even better for me than I expected them to, and I'm going to tell you all about it. Ben was hell-bent on divorcing me, but I had another plan. Chip would not leave me alone, so Chip decides to tell anyone and everyone who could hear that I was easy. He used another form of the word which is derogatory, and I got bullied badly. I told him to stop, as I was now getting threats from people for what I did, but he wouldn't stop. He bragged about how, even now, my husband is a loser who lets his women be taken by anyone. His actions brought me another problem. My mother-in-law. She wanted me to leave town so that he could marry my sister and raise those kids with her. It was my first time hearing about this. My sister and my husband? I still had enough left in me to break. I got tired of Chip. What he was doing was only making things worse. So I had to call an old friend to help sort him out. Scared him a little bit so that he would not utter another word about me. But my friend must have done too good of a job because he came to me with some new information. Chip was not doing this because he wanted to make my life hell. He was doing this because my mother-in-law paid him to stalk and harass me. In fact, it had started when Ben was in school. When Ben was in school, his mom paid Chip to harass him because she felt that Ben was too weak of a man. Because of Chip, Ben started playing sports and working out and became very athletic so that he could defend himself. That was one of the main reasons why he was able to qualify for being a donor. Seeing that her son was with someone that she hated, me, she decided that she was going to get rid of me. She starts planting the doubts in my mind, and I fell for it. She could not make me sleep with him, but she could have him around most of the time so that I could get the idea. And then me and my stupid revenge plot did all the work for her. She was going to reveal all to her son, but I stole the spotlight and told him myself. And then to make matters worse, she told him to show up in the meeting with my husband and say that I was the one who invited him so that I would look bad. I was not even surprised that she did this to me. She's never liked me and would do anything to get rid of me. But to hurt her own son since he was young? Well, I'm not surprised, since she let him send himself to college and did not help a bit. If anybody was the bad person here, it was her. And what was I about to do with this information? Absolutely nothing. Well, that's right. Nothing. He hated me and would never listen to me, so what was the point of me bothering him? I decided to just accept my fate, but my sister was not done yet. She came to my house later that day and asked me why I had been meeting up with Stevie, the guy who helped me get the information. It did not take long for me to spill, and she was horrified by the things that the woman would go and do and to get what she wanted. Still, she did not agree with what I did, but she said that clearly the woman influenced me by making me doubt by my husband. I told her that there was nothing much to do with the information. He hated me. Well, guess who came knocking on my door not long after, if not for my husband? He told me that my sister told him what his mom has done since he was young, and he decides to cut her out of his life. However, he could not cut me out of his life. I asked him why he could not do that, and he said that it's because my sister needs me. I didn't know what he meant by that. What secret was she hiding from me now? What he told me was something that I don't want to talk about at this moment, as it's still raw and painful. Maybe I'll share it with you all when I've processed it, but what I can tell you is that I'm moving back in with my husband and we're going to give our marriage another try. And all of this was because of my sister. I regret every cruel word or thought I had about her for the past few months. I was too caught up in my own selfish moments to even notice that something was going on with her. But now I'll do anything to make her happy. And so will my husband. Right now, she wants us to get back together, and so we're going to do that. Final update. Hey guys, it's me again. First off, I'm sorry for not telling you what my sister was going through. It was a bit too much for me to process and come to terms with. I'm fine now, and I'll fill you in on it. Several months ago, my sister found out that she was very ill with an autoimmune disease. It was slowly making her life difficult, and now she's unable to take care of her kids or work. She actually quit her job in the middle of all this happening. So, my husband knew that she was sick, but not with what. She also told him not to say anything because of my fear or loss. I've already lost my parents. How can I lose my sister as well? So then she decided that she needed to find a way to fix everything because she had no idea when she would lose her battle. When she found out about his mom, she enlisted Stevie to get Chip to confess to my husband, who made sure to sucker punch him. He was so grateful that she opened his eyes to how controlling his mom was and asked if he could do anything for her. As you may have guessed, she asked him to take me back. Work on the marriage, take care of the kids, and she cannot anymore due to her weakness. And so we have done exactly that for the past couple of months. She's staying with us in the triplets, and we have just broken the news to them that she's sick. They are not taking it well, as one can expect. We're all taking it day by day, and I cannot explain the heaviness in my heart these past few months. I also feel bad because if she was not dying, I would not have gotten the love of my life back. At least he's back in our room. I guess we are just taking baby steps, and as for his mom, she's banned from coming to our house and from seeing the kids. We also told her to keep her money. The kids don't need it. Myself and Ben work hard enough to provide for them. These past few months have taught me a lesson I never knew that I needed to learn. You must always be transparent with your family and not let things fester no matter how bad they are. This can prevent people from overreacting due to assumptions, and do you really want to lose someone important to you because of a misunderstanding that you cannot be bothered by or to clear? Don't be like me, because I barely made it out of this mess. There are so many more years to come before he even looks at me the same. Maybe it'll not be the same and he's just going to keep me as a co-parent when my sister is gone. It feels so weird to write those words. How could they even be true? How can a person so full of life not so long ago be close to death's door? Hug your family extra tight because you never know when it's going to be around the corner. Oh boy, this story just spiraled out of control really quickly. This is one of the prime examples why you should not jump to conclusions. Not so quickly, at least, and well, it looks like OP learned that lesson the hard way. I want to know what you guys think about her hooking up with the bully of her husband just because she thought that her husband was, well, cheating with his sister when it was so much deeper than that. Guys, let's talk about it in the comment section down below. Today's story was really interesting, and I just want to see your perspective on what you would have done if you were in OP's position and you found out that everything you thought happened, well, didn't really happen that way. Guys, my name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories every day, so if you want to be a part of these daily animated stories, consider subscribing to the channel. Have a great day, I'll see you tomorrow, and of course remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.